technology, but also to be creators of technology. So we organized, together with Accenture, several courses on Java and JavaScript software developer. And that's all from me. I hope I have the 5 minutes, and then we can keep talking.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for this short presentation, and then we'll come back to some of the aspects that you raised there. And Bartosz, could you share the screen and tell us a bit introduction to your good practice?
Sure, but you also need to give me permission to have my screen, and I can start.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Great. So my name is Bartosz Kosiński. I've been introduced before, and I would like to say a few words about the project that we have started in Poland, and now we are trying to promote it worldwide. The project GoPro Regional Programming Center is started in 2014, and it was a project which was organized within Poland with the support of Polish Ministry of Digitalization. And in the first project that was organized 6 years ago, we tried to cooperate with public libraries in 20 different regions in Poland. We tried to cooperate especially with libraries in rural areas and small cities to include youth and children in workshops in places which are not so easily connected with new technologies as bigger cities and with more developed infrastructure. So we choose 20 public libraries in Poland, and we create the first GoPro network. And within the network, we try to include staff from the libraries to be trainers within the network. So we try to make it, we try to work or guarantee a high sustainability of the network by including the existing infrastructure, the existing institutions and their permanent staff. So we didn't want to include external expert in trainings. We try to develop skills of people who are actually working in public libraries. So we organize a few trainings and online network of cooperation, which allow them to become professional trainers in basic of coding and programming. During the first project, we mostly worked with Lego Mindstorm and Magic Bricks. It was a Polish application which is supposed to help learn basic of creating algorithms and basic of programming. And I have also an example of the tools that we use within the first project. So this is example of one robot created with Lego techniques and special cube called Intelligent Cube, which is the idea of Lego education to help learn basic of programming with using robots and bricks and basic of engineering. And with that and LabVIEW application, youth are able to learn basic of programming in a very easy and very creative and very adaptive way. The idea was developed next year. We have been recognized by Reading and Writing Foundation in Belgium, and we got additional financial support to create another project called GoGo Pro. And within this project, we had opportunity to spread the idea to other libraries in Poland, and we create workshops and seminars and conferences to support the idea of using external infrastructure to support non-formal education in basic of in developing IT skills in Poland. And then during the next years, we get another support from European Commission. We had 2 grants from Erasmus Plus program. And within this program, we are able to spread the idea even further to include new educational techniques, methods like Scratch, like Scotty Go, board games, like Lofi robots. And we create new centers around the world. During the first GoPro Erasmus Plus project, we've been able to create another networks in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, in Kenya, in Spain, Croatia, and in Peru. And this network is working up till now, and it is developing even further. Last year, we started another project to include next countries like Cambodia, like Philippines, like India, Tanzania, Greece. And in this project, we also try to promote some great ideas developed in Poland, like Lofi robots you can see now on the screen. It is a similar idea than the one created by Lego Foundation, but this one is basing on Arduino, on wooden elements rather than plastic one, like in Lego. We also try to include quite interesting board game called Scotty Go, which was also developed in Poland and is great adaptive and creative tool which can be used to learn basic of programming. And to try to summarize it, why we started this project, because we want to improve digital and soft skills among youth using non-formal infrastructure and non-formal trainers, especially in non-governmental organizations and public libraries. We want to create a network which would be able to support each other and cooperate on a worldwide level. And we choose programming as a main topic for the network, not only because we want to make every youth a programmer or coder, but we recognize that basic of codings allow you to improve a lot of soft skills like cooperation skills, creativity skills, competitive thinking, logical intelligence, and these are skills that are crucial in labor market, in private life, no matter what branch you choose to further follow. So these are the skills important not only for people which will start their career in IT sector. We want to include existing infrastructure, existing NGOs and or public bodies like libraries or other cultural institutions. So make it so. By this, we want to make this network stable. We want to allow it to have full sustainability even after the project and public finance will end. We want to use different kind of active methods of education, like robots, board games, computer games, to allow youth to be involved. We want to make them feel that they actually create something important, and they actually do. They create a lot of very great games programs within the session. We're able to involve almost 10,000 youth worldwide till now, and the number is still growing. And
yeah, so we're gonna also follow on this on the target, speak a little bit more about the target group and also the very important aspect of collaboration. Thank you for now, Bartosz, and I would like to ask Anna to also present shortly in 5 minutes your good practice, and then we will go deeper into some aspects that you have also, that both of the speakers mentioned so far. Anna, you have to use the interpretation, so please choose English or Italian channel.
Eccomi. Buongiorno a tutti, grazie ovviamente per l'invito, è interessantissimo anche se ovviamente io seguo poco vista la lingua, e questo è un grande dispiacere che mi porto dietro da sempre, quindi forse i progetti di lifelong learning servono anche per me, anche se non sono più giovane. Allora, Presento Gemma. Intanto devo dire però una cosa, che Gemma nasce molto prima di questo che presento oggi, nel senso che viene da lontano, perché il progetto Gemma nasce nel 2008 insieme al comune di Perugia, che è il comune capoluogo della regione Umbria, che è la regione rurale che sta al centro dell'Italia, tant'è che siamo considerati il cuore verde d'Italia. Nasce, dicevo, nel 2008 da una idea illuminante di un assessore del comune, perché aveva capito già da allora che, anche prima, perché noi abbiamo progettato 2 anni prima di quando è stato realizzato il primo anno, aveva capito già da allora che la nascita di servizi online o la crescita comunque di servizi anche delle amministrazioni comunali online non poteva non considerare il fatto che molti cittadini non erano pronti a poterne usufruire, quindi era possibile realizzare questa problematica grossa che era il digital divide. Quindi noi siamo partiti molto presto, siamo partiti con le prime attività nel 2008 e addirittura nel primo progetto Gemma, tant'è che questo l'abbiamo chiamato #Gemma proprio per differenziarci dall'altro, noi avevamo anche fatto un'analisi dei cittadini e delle cittadine più bisognose, cioè che avevano più necessità
Anna,
di... Sì?
scusa un secondo, solo per cercare di far respirare l'interprete, se riesci a parlare un po' più lentamente così che lei riesce a prendere fiato, va bene?
Grazie.
Grazie a te.
Scusate, andavo troppo veloce. Dicevo che il progetto Gemma iniziale, quello che abbiamo iniziato prima del 2008, aveva questa cosa che mi piaceva molto, cioè l'idea di analizzare i cittadini per andare a individuare quali potessero essere i cittadini e le cittadine più bisognose di questi nuovi saperi digitali. E in quella fase, quindi parliamo di quasi 15 anni fa, in quella fase avevamo individuato come i soggetti più deboli della popolazione le donne cinquantenni che avevano lasciato la scuola da tanti anni e che avevano per tanti anni svolto solamente il ruolo di casalinghe, quindi erano fuori sia dai processi culturali e scolastici, ma soprattutto fuori dai processi professionali. Ovviamente in 15 anni le cose sono cambiate molto e siamo arrivati poi 2 anni fa a questo nuovo progetto che è specifico per le aree rurali, quindi di fatto non tanto per il comune di Perugia, che è il comune capoluogo, quanto per l'intera regione dell'Umbria, con questo nuovo progetto che si chiama #Gem e che è molto più concentrato sui saperi digitali piuttosto che sull'informatica e l'inglese, che erano invece le caratteristiche principali del primo progetto. Quindi arrivo a questo. Come nasce #Gem? Nasce dal fatto che la regione Umbria ha messo in piedi un progetto importante che si basa su luoghi strutturati proprio per il digitale. È un progetto che si chiama DigiPass e che va avanti da 4 anni e è un progetto tra l'altro riconosciuto come buona prassi nazionale dal Ministero dell'Innovazione. Questo DigiPass non è altro che mettere in piedi dei luoghi fisici strutturati per i cittadini, totalmente gratuiti, dove i cittadini potessero andare lì a fare attività legate al digitale, per cui attività molto legate alla vita comune, alla vita quotidiana. Questo progetto DigiPass ha però evidenziato dei punti deboli, cioè ha evidenziato il fatto che i cittadini non andavano poco o non andavano per niente presso questi luoghi perché mancava di fatto la base di conoscenza, cioè mancava totalmente l'approccio digitale. Allora la Regione dell'Umbria ha finanziato questo progetto che invece una serie di pillole digitali, di animazioni digitali per avvicinare i cittadini e le cittadine ai servizi che le amministrazioni hanno messo in piedi. Quindi, come dicevo, entra a far parte questo progetto #GEM dell'Open Umbria Program, che è un finanziamento regionale specifico. È necessario dire purtroppo che la Regione dell'Umbria da anni non ha più la misura di finanziamento del lifelong learning, quindi non c'è più la formazione permanente per i cittadini, e quindi abbiamo cercato di trovare questo finanziamento all'interno di un'altra linea di finanziamento che è comunque del Fondo Sociale Europeo. Vado avanti.
Anna, scusami un secondo, poi torniamo. We come back later on the partnership and so on, right?
Exactly. We come back later on the partnership. I think that it's nice to go to the roundtable. Thank you, Anna, for the short introduction, and then you will get to know a little bit more about specifics when we start our second part. Anna, you can stop sharing your screen. Fine. So yeah, I would like to invite Raul and Bartosz and Anna just to take this time and based on your good practice to talk about some important things that I would like to ask you. So the first question is, we've seen that that your good practice are really targeting the specific group of the society, and I would like to ask you, Raul, what was the problem? What is the reason that actually your good practice have to focus on that target group? And what is the reason behind? What is the rationale behind this, in short?
Thank you, Marta. Yes, with Empleando Digital, our focus, talking about the participants of the program, was that these participants could be able to take advantage of the opportunities that comes with the digital transformation. They cannot be left behind, because if we do not get this, we are going to face another gap, the digital gap, that will sum to the other gaps vulnerable people already carry. As Anna was telling in the introduction, we have a double and triple vulnerability sometimes. Yep. In the Spanish Red Cross, they have a wider range of people that participate in their programs. As I was saying before, in Fundación Secretariado Gitano, our participants are usually young people, not only because, as I was saying, we deal with everybody, but usually young. They have no experience in salaried jobs. Maybe they have some experience, but in the family business, usually, because almost half of Spanish Roma workers work for themselves as street vendors, for example. And most of them do not complete the compulsory education. So thinking on terms of challenges and what we were trying to do, the lack of education, the experience in salaried jobs, all of those are challenges that we wanted to face with this project. We also focus on women, and this is a specific objective in Empleando Digital. The gender gap in the IT sector is big, and it must be addressed. Even more if we are talking about vulnerable people, and if we are talking about Roma women. For example, one of the participants in this project, a young Roma woman named Nazaret, is today a developer in Accenture. This is a great step forward for Roma women. That now they know that they can get a work like this. They know that this kind of job exists and that of course they can do it. You can see her, Nazaret, in our YouTube channel in Fundación Secretariado Gitano. We have a short 1.5 minute video, and it is quite exciting to see how she herself explains how this changed her life. And talking about challenges, last and not least, we had to defeat our own prejudices as professionals. As I said, we are working for 20 years. And of course, we are experts and we do very well our job. But we have to defeat our own prejudices on what vulnerable and Roma people can achieve in the digital world. We have to beat out our own ideas on this on our own habits, on our own processes. That's why the first part of the project was training ourselves, changing our attitude, changing our tools and our methodologies.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine, because we have all of us have some hidden prejudices and some sort of we're in the mind.
Not so hidden sometimes.
Not so even hidden, exactly. Or sometimes we are unaware, but and then it comes out somewhere in the making. Yeah. Thank you for this. And Bartosz, because you mentioned in your good practice that, of course, at the beginning it all started very simple. So you had to you wanted to train the librarians, right? So in order to give training to youth, but your sort of a target was not in general youth, but was unprivileged children. Is that correct?
Yes, at the beginning, the idea of the project was born with the realization of the huge gap between possibilities for youth to develop between, at the beginning, small rural areas and small cities and big cities. And further, when we further develop the idea during the next steps, we also try to address the gap between developed countries and countries which are still underdeveloped. So that was the aim which we took to promote this good practice, especially within Erasmus Plus program. But generally, we tried to make a space for youth children not only to participate in the trainings, but also to be able to get in touch with new technologies and experiment by themselves. Because within the GoPro network, we choose the two approaches for education. First was more traditional trainings led by librarians, NGO workers, trainers. But the other one was something we called the Coders Club. Within every center within the network, we allowed children to meet. We allowed youth to meet for a few hours every week. During these sessions, they get a special challenge, and together as a group, with just a small animation and support facilitation from the staff, they actually tried to deal with the problem themselves. They have the challenge, they need to create a robot, they need to program it, but they have to deal with it with their peer group. So that was one of our approach, not only to support them as within the trainings, but also to create a space environment for them to get in touch with new technologies and experiment with it themselves. And we believe that this was the very good strategy to limit the gap we had in contact with technology, which can at the end create e-exclusion for them in the future.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. But could you tell me what was the there were certain groups in different libraries, right? Created of the children. Did they have did they connect with each other even in between libraries at a certain moment? If it comes.
Yes, we try to create a few events to integrate the network. For example, we use European Digital Week in October to create a competition and allow them to communicate with each other. But we also create a space on the project webpage within for network to communicate from each other with each other.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this. Anna, I know that that your project is targeting a wide range of people, because those are unemployed, but those are also elderly people and youth. But could you a little bit elaborate? Yeah, what was the rationale in between in there? To focus on some of the target groups that you mentioned before.
Sì, grazie. Allora, noi ci siamo rivolti un po' a tutti i soggetti cosiddetti deboli del territorio, quindi disoccupati e disoccupate, con grande attenzione anche alle donne e poi tutto il target, diciamo, delle persone più adulte, proprio perché la regione dell'Umbria è una regione, un territorio dove ci sono tantissimi anziani, abbiamo un'età media molto alta, per cui dovevamo intervenire anche da questo punto di vista. Devo dire che quello che hanno detto gli altri relatori lo condivido in pieno, cioè questi progetti hanno un valore sociale molto importante, cioè l'obiettivo non è solo di far passare delle competenze o accrescere delle competenze, ma anche quello di non lasciare ai margini pezzi della società. Tra l'altro noi ci siamo trovati in piena pandemia a svolgere queste attività di progetto, per cui una delle cose più importanti è stato, insieme alle amministrazioni comunali, dove ricordo il soggetto capofila è proprio un'amministrazione comunale, a fare delle attività sociali che tenessero insieme veramente i cittadini e le cittadine più deboli. Un esempio su tutti, che è simbolico, certamente non è rappresentativo, ma è certamente simbolico, è il fatto che noi abbiamo addirittura messo in piedi dei pranzi online, proprio perché volevamo far capire agli utenti che era possibile attraverso il digitale anche sentirsi meno soli e non sentirsi abbandonati. Per cui questo è stato anche un po' un processo in divenire, in fieri, perché abbiamo dovuto veramente cambiare le cose in relazione alla pandemia, perché sapete che poi in Italia è arrivata forse per primo, quindi abbiamo messo a punto anche delle metodologie di intervento. L'altro punto relativo al target, all'utenza, che mi preme sottolineare è il coinvolgimento delle scuole medie e superiori, quindi ragazzi che vanno dagli 11 ai 18 anni, e con loro abbiamo trattato tutto il tema del cyberbullismo e dell'odio online, perché riteniamo che quello sia un tema da affrontare con attenzione, perché rischia di diventare sempre più enorme, pressante nei nostri territori, no? Quindi cercare di costruire insieme a loro anche la capacità e una coscienza critica che consenta loro di difendersi in qualche modo dai nuovi social. Per cui siamo tra l'altro a metà del progetto, quindi noi abbiamo ancora davanti tante attività da fare, quindi su questo terremo in considerazione più cose.
Thank you very much for this. I wanted to come back a little bit to the aspect of collaboration. As you have seen, if the ones that follow yesterday the meeting in the afternoon, Adam, the director of Good Things Foundation, he really emphasized that in current times there is a huge importance on collaborations between, so getting all different partnerships together. So in order to really to have those outcomes and so that our activities are beneficial for those vulnerable groups, we need to start to get together and collaborate with each other. So I wanted to, because I know that in for example, Raul and also Bartosz was collaborating with and especially Anna, you were collaborating with all different stakeholders while realizing your good practice. Raul, could you a little bit elaborate on the fact who were your collaborators and how this collaboration worked out, and what were the most important elements that actually brought it to success? And is there any sort of hope for the future that such a collaboration can go forward?
Yeah, the collaboration for us is key. In Empleando Digital, we work together, the Spanish Red Cross and Fundación Secretariado Gitano. As said before, we in the Fundación Secretariado Gitano, we are a big organization. but still some projects are much more rich if deployed together with a partner. We have a long history of collaboration with the Spanish Red Cross in Spain, and this was clear from the beginning that this kind of project we would do it together. And of course, it also the presence of Accenture Foundation. It's absolutely key. They have the knowledge and they have a large experience in the technology market. So the know-how they bring related to how the IT sector works, how the companies are reacting to the digital transformation, that is essential in a project like this, because we are experts in the work with vulnerable people. We have a lot of experience, but we do not know about the trends in the digital world, or at least we are not experts in that. So we had also with Accenture previous experience of cooperation in the project Together for the Employment of the Most Vulnerable, which is a quite huge project, improving especially the skills of the vulnerable people in the labor market. But in this project, Accenture created the report Digital Impact on the Vulnerable People, which is an amazing report on how the occupations that most vulnerable people traditionally work on are being modified by the technology. And what that means in terms of skills they must develop, the knowledge they must have, or the tools they have to use. Of course, this report was the basis we used to create some of our trainings. And besides, Accenture was the closest partner in the creation and development of the software of the IT courses. These courses were tailored built so the participants could learn what needed to be workers as coders in Accenture. That these participants, who most of them had, as I said, a compulsory education and nothing more, they could in a few months be ready to start working as software developers. Of course, our staff made a hard work accompanying the participants and the whole process, but without the involvement and collaboration of Accenture, this would have been absolutely impossible. And of course, also the creation of the tools. Accenture creates the tools with our collaboration, with our inputs, but they have the knowledge on how to do this because they do this in other sectors of the economy. So I think Empleando Digital is one example of this kind of collaboration between a third sector entity or two third sector entities and a private big technology company, which gives us all this knowledge and know-how.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anna, I wanted to come back to you because you mentioned before that you're predominantly collaborating with the regional authorities, with Regione Umbria. Could you tell us how this collaboration look like and what are the prospects for the future?
Sì, grazie. Io vorrei sottolineare una cosa. Noi partiamo da un principio di fondo, cioè il progetto, sia questo che quello che spiegavo prima, che va avanti da tanti anni, si basano su un principio di fondo, che l'inclusione sociale, i saperi digitali devono essere un diritto per tutti i cittadini e tutte le cittadine. Quindi se devono essere, e se sono un diritto per tutti, devono essere, come dire, gestiti e amministrati dai soggetti pubblici. Quindi noi siamo il braccio operativo, però riteniamo che questi diritti possono essere soddisfatti solamente se gli enti pubblici, che sia la regione, l'amministrazione regionale, che siano le amministrazioni comunali, sono coinvolti in primo luogo. Per cui, partendo da questo principio, è chiaro che il nostro progetto e tutti i nostri progetti devono per forza avere le amministrazioni pubbliche come soggetti partner o soggetti capofila, perché da un lato ci danno anche l'idea di quali sono le esigenze dei cittadini, dall'altra sono garanzia di trasparenza e soprattutto della possibilità che si possa veramente arrivare a tutti. Quando noi siamo partiti abbiamo anche combattuto, consentitemi questo termine, contro le tante attività a pagamento che stavano nascendo nel territorio. Noi invece vogliamo portare gratuitamente questi saperi a tutti, anche alle persone più deboli. Il coinvolgimento delle amministrazioni comunali ci ha consentito di lavorare molto anche con le associazioni dei cittadini e lavorare soprattutto sui servizi digitali che le amministrazioni hanno messo in piedi. il coinvolgimento delle scuole pubbliche, come dicevo prima, scuole sia medie che superiori, quindi dagli 11 ai 18 anni, ci consentono di essere credibili e trasparenti rispetto a una fascia di popolazione che sono gli adolescenti, che è una fascia difficile e delicatissima su cui bisogna lavorare in simbiosi e insieme alle scuole, agli insegnanti e a tutto il personale scolastico. Il coinvolgimento di un ente come il nostro, che invece è un ente privato, insieme alle agenzie per il lavoro, ci consente di lavorare con i giovani diplomati e laureati in cerca del proprio percorso professionale, anche perché in questa fase sappiamo bene che qualunque percorso professionale venga scelto ha bisogno comunque dei saperi digitali. La collaborazione con il pubblico, cioè con le amministrazioni, per noi è fondamentale. Noi non pensiamo a progetti che non abbiano questo tipo di amministrazione, anche perché la Regione Umbria è stata la prima a crederci mettendo in piedi questo progetto dei Digipass. Quindi noi riteniamo che si debba continuare in questo senso e, come dire, su questo c'è una coerenza forte con l'amministrazione regionale. Come dicevo, noi abbiamo ancora tempo davanti per realizzare il progetto GEMA, ma stiamo già lavorando per un bando che la Regione sta facendo sull'upgrade delle competenze digitali e quindi anche su quello continueremo a lavorare per fare sia corsi dove ce n'è bisogno, sia animazioni digitali molto brevi, quindi mezza giornata, 2 ore, quanto serve per cercare di dare queste più che competenze, queste informazioni digitali. Tra l'altro un'altra cosa su cui vorrei mettere l'accento, che velocemente, che i comuni sono disponibilissimi a fare questo, perché sono i primi interlocutori dei propri concittadini, dei propri cittadini nel dare loro delle informazioni legate al digitale. Per cui questo rapporto con ANCI, che è l'Associazione Nazionale dei Comuni Italiani, ci consente poi anche di mettere in piedi attività di disseminazione e replicabilità del progetto, perché tramite loro possiamo arrivare anche a tutte le amministrazioni comunali che oggi non sono coinvolte in maniera attiva, ma che sono invece interessate al progetto.
Thank you very much. We are running a little bit out of time. I wanted just to ask 3 of you just to wrap up with and tell us a bit very concrete results of your project. So sort of in numbers, if you can summarize it a little bit. Bartosz, could you wrap it up? How many participants and all sort of results of your project?
Yes, I will try. Right now, the most important number is 47. 47 is the number of the partners within the main network, the partners who organized GoPro centers within their institution, within their organization. 24 in Poland, other in countries that we are cooperating with. Another, it will be around 200. 200 is the number of partners of the local partnership, because we encourage every GoPro center operator to create local partnerships with schools, public institutions, but also companies and other organizations in order to help them organize high quality trainings free for the youth as well. So this will be the number of other stakeholders which were included as cooperators by the GoPro centers operators. And right now the number of youth which were involved will be, it's actually hard to say the exact number, but it will be around 10,000, where 4,000 is in 5,000 is in Poland, and the next 5,000 in the other countries, of youth that were participating on various forms in the GoPro centers, because we don't have one schedule for the trainings. Some of them are just going for one session, some of them are participating for the couple of months, even years right now. But that will be the number of the people who are more or less involved as youth in our trainings. And right now we have around 120 GoPro trainers. That means people who are participating in our trainings for trainer sessions, which we prepared to organize high quality trainings in the local communities.
Incredible. Thanks. 10,000 of participants. It's an incredible number. Wow, congratulations. Raul.
Yes, really fast. I'm going to share my screen so we can see the numbers, which I can see are similar to those we were seeing. We have almost 10,000 people have improved their digital skills and their knowledge of technology. And we can see there the three main actions that we talked about before with our participants. Almost 6,000 people participated in the digital skill courses and the digital classroom. We organized 25 training courses in those occupations that are being transformed by technology, and there are 300 participants. And we made 4 training courses on the technology sector. This is Java and JavaScript. These were 500 hours theoretical and practice courses. And during that time, they learned to do the job, they developed the skills. And at the end of the training, 12 of them started directly working in Accenture. I would like to remind that these people, these vulnerable people had no experience at all in technology jobs, and most of them had low levels of education. These are the numbers. I think that also it is important to understand how this changed the life of people. What I was saying before, how now we can have a reference of a Roma woman that was there, that can do this kind of job. But the basic numbers are this.
Raul, could you put a link to that video that you mentioned before?
Yeah,
in the chat, because that would be really great.
I would like to share that video and also the main page where you can find all the information about the project.
So you can put now in the chat so that we can take it and then follow on this, because it's really, really interesting. Anna, you already mentioned some numbers, but can you summarize?
Sì, li riassumo velocemente. Allora, il progetto era pensato per fare animazioni in presenza e quindi prevedeva nella fase di progettazione 360 attività di animazione per circa 4.000 persone. Poi lo abbiamo cambiato per la pandemia e quindi noi abbiamo fatto, al posto delle animazioni in presenza, perché non si poteva fare, abbiamo fatto delle pillole digitali sui social, su Facebook in particolare, e delle attività con Zoom. E siamo passati per le attività sui social a 35.000 visualizzazioni delle nostre pillole digitali e circa 1.000 persone che hanno partecipato alle attività su Zoom, che sono ancora in atto, per cui sono cambiati totalmente i numeri. È chiaro che noi dovremmo attentamente valutare l'impatto che una visualizzazione su Facebook ha, che è completamente diversa da una partecipazione in presenza di un'attività di animazione. Su questo ci lavoreremo molto nei prossimi mesi.
Thank you very much. So we are heading to the end. Alessia, if there are any questions in the chat, we have now 2 minutes, 3 minutes to check.
Yeah, no question specifically, but maybe we can take one question or two from the audience if anyone would like to.
Exactly. If anyone would like to speak right now, that's at the moment. If you have any,
even if we have just
question or comment or something, so please take your time now.
Otherwise, we will just merge with
we are
with the
already
other group.
merging.
We are merging. Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you very much to our speakers. It was very, very interesting. And I mean, I'm sure that also the other session as well was interactive. I mean, the idea of those two parallel sessions was really to bring to the attention who is daily working on digital inclusion, and to show you some example of organization that and activities that you can of course find in the knowledge community, but all around us. So anytime you have question about the activities, you have also all the contact on the knowledge community. You can get in touch directly with them, or you can write any of the partner of the project in order to get more information.
Yes, you've on the Eventbrite, you've got also the names of the panelists there, so you can always also contact me and the organizer if you would like to have the email to contact some of the panelists. Thank you again for participation, and I hope it was worth it. And I would like to invite you in the afternoon for our next session that starts at 2 o'clock CET, so Central European time. And we're going to look at some complex needs further, going into those specific vulnerable groups of people. So more case studies, more good practices, and more discussions. So today is day 2, tomorrow is day 3. So I also wanted to invite you for tomorrow. You can check our program on the webpage. And till then, thank you very much. And
thank you very much.
Thank you.